Federal government has been shut down for 35 days. Tomorrow will make it the 36th day, making this the longest government shutdown in American history. And their goal is not to reopen the government. Their goal is to break the government. Their goal is for the government not to work. Also, if you're a federal worker, their goal is to break and traumatize you, literally.
We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. We want, when they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. We want their funding to be shut down so that the EPA can't do all of the rules against our energy industry because they have no bandwidth financially to do so. We want to put them in trauma.
That was Ross Vought in 2023. Ross Vought, of course, is now the director of OMB, which is the Office of Management and Budget, which is a very, very powerful agency if you want to cause and wreak havoc in the federal government. But he's also one of the architects of Project 2025. So their goal is to traumatize the bureaucrats. Their goal is to fire civil servants. Their goal is to traumatize federal workers so that the only people that will want to work for a presidential administration, the only people that will want to work for the federal government are people who are only loyal to the president of the United States. Their goal is to break the system. And so you have to understand this government shutdown in the context of authoritarianism of something like Project 2025, which is their authoritarian playbook if a Republican got back into the White House this year. Schedule F started a course immediately after Donald Trump got into office. He invoked Schedule F. He not only invoked Schedule F, of course, which would allow him to fire hundreds of thousands of civil servants in the US government and then install Trump loyalists, but it also we had a situation where Trump instituted a national hiring freeze, so nobody could apply for federal government jobs, so nobody could work for the federal government. Their goal is to break the system. This is an authoritarian power grab. So, yes, what we are watching right now is Democrats consistently hold the line to protect healthcare in the United States, to protect the cost of healthcare not to rise in this country, as so many people will not be able to afford that. Republicans are pretending like Democrats are the ones that started this shutdown when, of course, they hold all branches of government. But you have to understand this government shutdown in the context of authoritarianism in Project 2025. They want to traumatize the federal workers. They don't want the government to reopen. The longer there is a government shutdown, the more you have situations where they can continue instituting their agenda and trying to do illegal. But it's like you also look at this and you understand this in the wider parameter of things in terms of stuff like unitary executive theory, this theory that conservatives have had for years going back to the Bush Cheney administration, that the president of the United States is all powerful and that they can basically can do whatever they want. And so when you understand that context, the federal government being shut down is actually very beneficial to them. I mean, yes, Congress has technically already abdicated their duty under this administration. Republicans are completely feckless and useless in being the legislative branch and checking this administration, checking the executive branch, as our three branches of government were set up for. They're not doing that. So, technically, Congress is already feckless and useless under this administration in terms of checking authoritarian power. But when the government is shut down completely in terms of essential agencies and workers being furloughed and Congress not being there, even though they're still getting paid, what you then create is a system where all that power consolidates and is concentrated on the executive branch. That's exactly what they're aiming for, to make Donald Trump a dictator. I know there's a lot of talk about these No Kings rallies, and they are very powerful and important when it comes to the resistance movement, but they really should be named No Dictators. I mean, because that's what we're looking at here. Donald Trump said he wanted to be a dictator on day one upon getting back into office. And this government shutdown, the longer it lasts into the holidays, with people not being able to afford groceries, with people not being able to pay their rent or their bills, and struggling and crying, the goal is mass trauma. The goal is to inflict as much pain on the American people as possible with no end in sight. I'm Jeremiah Patterson, an independent investigative journalist. Be sure to follow me for more on my website, tjpsnews.com, and you can also check out our socials. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss any of our reports, specials, and documentaries.